Hi everyone, this is Bruno Falcone. I am here with, I want to call you, what is it, Miss Nicole Joy? Can I do
Well, I am a Mrs. I am married.
Mrs. Well, you know, it sounds
I
good.
know Miss Nicole Joy.
It
That's
sounds
not better
sexy.
than Mrs. I'll take
Nicole
it.
Joy. Nicole Joy. We, the cool thing about this is that, you know, we both are entrepreneurs. We both work very hard at what we do, our passion. And we met through a fundraiser event. And that's how you know, like, whenever, I think one of the reasons why I'm very happy that you came is because that's how you know that you are the type of entrepreneur that makes things happen. So it only took a message, a few exchange. Hey, do you have time to sit down and have a little chat? And you were like, awesome. So I think, I don't know if you know, but that responsiveness alone is incredible. Yeah.
And I think, thank you.
You're
for
welcome.
saying that. I think that's why I do, pardon the overused phrase, but I get shit done because I don't muck around. If I want to do something, I put my mind to it and get it done. That's why I've done, and I'm sure we'll get into it today, but I've done everything from, I had my own sleepwear label, I published cookbooks, I had my own podcast in a different season of my life. It was about conceiving our Lucia. It was a 5-year journey. So I had that. I had a network marketing business at one stage. I've done so many different things. Yeah. I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I think Marie Forleo actually coined that term. And I know that if I want to do something, I follow that nudge and I get it done. Yeah. I'm not, I don't procrastinate. And I don't think you've actually got the opportunity to do that if you're an entrepreneur. Because you miss out.
Yeah, you definitely miss out. Well, there's also you don't know what you're missing out on. So there's a lot of people that they would, take more time, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, it was happening then, it's not going to happen now. It's missing that train. Sometimes it makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do think the caveat to that is when the energy and the excitement and the passion isn't there, you have to know when to let something go or to pivot. A lot of people, I think, get stuck in, well, I started this, so I have to see it through. And I know that there is merit in being able to do that. But I think the distinction is, I know the distinction is knowing what to let go of and what to pursue. Instead of getting distracted by shiny objects, it's what's feeling effortless right now? What's really driving me? What am I laying awake at 2 a.m. thinking about? What do I think about the first time I open my eyes in the morning? And it's really following that passion and knowing when to let go of something that isn't serving you anymore or isn't in alignment with where you want to go. Yeah.
So, I mean, like, to Nicole Joy today, that's a big journey. So what is the thing that keeps you up at night, like at 2 o'clock today?
What I'm doing now, I feel like, is the culmination of everything that I've ever done. So I teach people how to speak with confidence now, and on a stage as well as on camera, because trust has a face, trust has a voice. And if you're a business owner in today's landscape and you're not showing your face and you're not speaking to camera and you're not saying yes to speaking opportunities, you're missing out. And the transformation that I see from people who come to me who can barely say their name in a room full of people, and I mean 10 people. I had one woman who almost broke down at a retreat that I was at when she had to introduce herself to 10 women and say why she was there. 6 months later, she's on a stage in front of 100 people.
Wow.
Rocking it.
That's amazing.
Like the transformation, and I see that all the time in my work, which really lights me up. And one thing I'd love to say to your listeners is if they do want to speak or they want to become more confident, not to fall into the bullshit trap I hear people tell themselves all the time, which is, I'm just not a good speaker. I'm just not confident. I wasn't born confident. Confidence, particularly speaking, it's a skill. It's not something you're born with. It's like saying, when you say, oh, I'm just not a confident speaker, it's like somebody going out on a tennis court for the first time, picking up a racket, not doing very well and saying, I just wasn't a born tennis player. Like, how ridiculous does that sound? That's the same with speaking.
I think, I mean, like you, like touching on confidence very, very quickly, like in my experience, like my own confidence was, I built it. Like, as a teenager, I think I was, like in my house, there was like a little bit of a struggle, a little bit of mental health and, like a little bit of, not quite domestic violence, but, there was definitely things to take a look at. So it wasn't for me, like, I don't think the best environment to develop that confidence, right? So I think when I turned 14, that's when I went to high school. It was a moment where, all kids are new. Everybody is like in the same boat, like you're starting from the ground level. And I think that was like probably one of the first times that I thought, how do I become more confident? How do I make it so people see me as confident? And it just so happened it was around the same time as Bad Boys, right? Like Will Smith.
Like my favorite.
The pink,
I know that.
the pink lining on the suit, and I was like, that looks like confidence to me, right? So that was literally like one of like a pivoting moment in my life where I was thinking, I think you can influence the way that people think about you, the way that people see you. And that was for me like a moment that was like, okay, so confidence, yes, you can have it, you might not have it, but you can build it.
Absolutely.
And I think in your case, it's like that idea that's like, well, I'm not a speaker, I never spoke on stage. And you have like that like limiting belief where it's like, well, you need to just build the skill.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah.
A lot of people will say to me now, the Nicole Joy that you see now, nearly 43 years old, you're such a natural. You're so confident on camera. I have been doing this for over 20 years.
That's right.
I did my first television commercial, I think I was 17 or 18.
Yeah.
And I have been doing television presenting, TV commercials, acting for 2 decades.
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason why it has become natural to me.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not something the first time I spoke on stage or the first time I spoke on camera. I also have a teaching background. I was a teacher for nearly 15 years.
Yeah.
And so, again, that has definitely played into it because I had to stand up in front of large groups of kids and command their attention and teach them and gain their respect. So this is the work in progress, right?
I still remember like my first gig, like in front of, it was 100 people in the room.
Mm-hmm. Good size.
It was 100 people. and I was so like, I was like, yeah, I got it. Like, and I went on stage and, like I was talking and it was already when like doing this business. So like I was talking about things that I knew, like a Bible. And, I tried things like it's almost like I tested it, but like I failed miserably. So like engaging the room, like hands up, and then I remember there was like this specific, like I would ask a question that I would say that's what you should answer, but they answer the opposite. I was like, oh my god, like what am I gonna do? So it was I don't want to say it was a train wreck, but like it was definitely. It wasn't the way that I thought I would handle it. And then now, like, like a few years later, like it's completely different. But I think, I mean, what would you say to somebody that it does fail like first time and now they're scared? Like, do they have a chance like to get better?
Absolutely, like you did, right? I've been in front of 250 people doing a cooking demonstration back when I had my cookbooks. And so it was for a particular brand. I won't name them. And I was making my raw desserts. That's what I was known for. I was making raw desserts before they were cool, right? The bliss balls, all of the raw cheesecakes, all that. And I said to this particular company, I said, your product doesn't work with nuts and dates. All it does is get stuck down the bottom. I need the other one, which was kind of like their competitor.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, it'll be fine. And I got up on stage And it did what I said. I knew it would do it, and I couldn't do it anymore. And I remember just looking out at the crowd. And in that moment, I chose to be very honest. And I said, if you are making these desserts, this will not work. So here are some alternatives that you could use. Like I was, and I said that, and I just kind of laughed it off and kept going. And I think what I want people to know is that the audience is rooting for you. They want you to be good.
That is true.
They don't want you to be bad.
No, they don't.
They don't want you to be bad. They want you to be good. And I think a lot of the time, what I know to be true is if you make it about them, and that's what I did in that moment. I didn't go, oh my gosh, I need to correct here so I look better. I was like, put the spotlight on the audience. If this happens to them at home, here's what you can do.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn this into a teachable moment for you so this doesn't happen to you. I put it all on them.
Yeah.
And I always say, you're not scared of speaking, you're scared of rejection. You don't have a visibility issue, you have a fear of rejection issue.
Yeah.
We can all speak. So it's not a speaking thing.
No.
Goes back to caveman times. If we were rejected back then, cast out of the tribe, out of the cave, you die, you're dead, right?
You're dead.
And that part of our brain is still well and truly alive. So people that experience that fear, I want you to know that your body is actually doing what it's meant to do in that moment. We have this tiny little almond-shaped part of our brain called the amygdala, and it is your body's threat detector. So it's constantly looking, what's a threat, what's a threat? And it doesn't know the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and a room full of 250 people staring at you.
Yeah.
So it's doing what it's meant to do. But here's the kicker. Your brain will not know whether it's fear or excitement unless you tell it. Because fear and excitement in our body shows up the same.
Same.
Dry mouth, beating heart, butterflies in your tummy, all of that. So the words that you say, and this is the mindset part of speaking, the words that you say to yourself will either serve you or sabotage you.
Yeah.
So if you can tell yourself, I'm excited, I've got this, I can't wait for this opportunity, rather than, oh my God, I'm so scared, I'm going to stuff up. What happens if this happens? What? Turn it around. What's the best that could happen?
Yeah.
So that internal dialogue before you go out is super important, as well as when you're on stage. If something doesn't go the way that you want, I've got this. Take a moment. The way that you talk to yourself, that's self-compassion, which is a huge part of confidence. It should be the same, in the same tone and the same language that you would speak to your child. If your child was having
be kind to yourself.
Be kind to yourself.
Be kind to yourself.
If your child was having a bad moment and was doubting themselves, you wouldn't go, come on, toughen up, well, maybe some people would, wrong way to go about it.
Yeah.
You would give them all the encouragement they need.
Yeah.
You would tell them, you've got this, you've done this is going to be great, you're incredible, I love you. Those same words that you share with your child, your best friend, your partner, you need to direct that to yourself. Yeah. Self-compassion is a key component of confidence. The way that you talk to yourself, particularly in those moments when things don't go right, is key.
So what I'm listening and what I'm hearing, there's three things that you just talked about. So you're going on stage, or you're speaking in front of people, speaking in a place of work, or you are in front of people and you need to get some words out. Number one, don't confuse that fear with the excitement. So number one is that feeling that they a little bit scared, but then you can tell it to yourself.
It's a reframe. Reframe it into excitement. Number two is the audience doesn't want you to be to make a mistake. They're on your side.
They're on your side. The audience is on your side. They want you to succeed, which is a very comforting thought, gorgeous. And then number three, be kind to yourself. So having if things don't go exactly the way they're meant to be, you need to be kind to yourself and have soft word of encouragement. I might add one more thing that which is something that I tell myself, is whenever I make a mistake, so things that they don't go the way that I'm meant to say it, they don't know.
You've taken the words right out of my mouth.
They don't know. They don't know what I was gonna say.
Exactly.
So I think it's whatever you make it make it look like. if you forget something but you don't show it, and you go in with confidence, and then this is what I wanted to say anyways.
They don't know. And that's such an important topic too, is if you deliver it with confidence, if your presence and your delivery, if you can make them believe that you meant to do that, they aren't going to know. They aren't going to know.
No way.
And I think too, what a lot of people do, and this can stop that from happening, is, and I would add this to that list of 3 that you said before, clarity equals confidence. Go in with a plan, not a word for word memorized script. That's not going to serve you at all. But go in with a plan. If your opening is really strong and you know that, that's going to really help you to flow into the other parts of your structure. So I teach a structure within She Speaks Academy. And when people have that structure, that scaffolding, they feel more confident. Clarity will always equal confidence. If you get up on stage, so many people say, I'm just going to wing it.
No,
don't wing it. I believe that that's disrespectful to your audience and yourself. Have a structure. Be fluid with it, and know that, again, if you keep falling into and really embodying, the audience doesn't know what I'm going to say, the audience actually wants me to succeed, and putting the spotlight on the audience, making it about the audience, it becomes less about you and what you look like and what you sound like. You're there to serve.
Yeah.
Because speaking isn't about you.
No, it really
isn't.
It's
about your audience. And if you can, before you write a talk or craft your keynote presentation, whatever you've got, just think to yourself, what do I want them to walk away with? If they could speak to,
that's great.
What's that one thing you want them to remember you for? So when they bump into someone in the hall and they're like, oh, Bruno was incredible. He spoke about, what is it?
Exactly.
What's that? If you can articulate the thing that you want them to walk away with, then you reverse engineer what you're going to say, and you make sure all roads point to that.
That's amazing.
You know?
I love that. This is awesome.
Very easy.
No, it's really, really cool. If this is something that you do, I think one of my mentors told me the power of stories. So, you know it? You got it? Oh, of course. Yeah.
We are wired for stories, and the human brain will lean in and listen when you start telling a story. You start teaching and telling and selling. People go, even if it's unconscious.
Yeah.
You know, you tell a story, it's how you connect. And the story's not so much about you, but it's for your audience to feel seen. So we choose stories. I like to think of a story as the vehicle for your message to get your audience where you want them to go. You know, that one moment I just said you want them to have that takeaway. So your stories are the vehicle that carry them towards that one takeaway. Rather than going, here are 3 things I know about confidence. Let me tell you a story first.
Yeah.
And even those words, let me tell you a story, or I've got a story about that. People go, oh.
I'll
and they lean in.
Yeah.
They lean in.
Well, my mentor, what he was saying about the stories, it was have like some go-to stories that are yours.
Good mentor you've got there, Bruno.
Oh, yeah, thank you. JT Fox, shout out.
JT.
Well, and I mean, and I think ever since he told me that, like, I do have a bank that I go and withdraw every single time, like whenever I want to have a point across. And the same story can have a different message. So, like,
absolutely. I call it, within my academy, I call it story tapping. So I say, okay, I want you to think of the stories that you have that illustrate a key message. Have them all in a journal or your notes section of your phone, Google Doc, whatever you like to do. Write down the story and then what the key message is, and just have them there ready for you to tell. And when you do that, you can, depending on your audience, depending on who's in the room, you can go, that story might suit this audience better, or this story is better suited to them.
Yeah.
And I think with whatever you do, starting off with a story. So just to give you and your listeners a little insight into how I prepare for when I'm asked to talk.
Yeah.
So I was asked to, and this is even for MCing. I see this so often with MCs. They think they're just there to introduce speakers, to say, phones off, in case of a fire, go down. Like, it's not.
Horrible. No.
So I emceed a charity event not too long ago, and it was arguably one of the darkest topics. It's human trafficking, right?
Yeah.
Big topic. So I had to handle the energy of the room. And instead of focusing on the actual topic and the darkness of it, I wanted to turn everybody's attention to the hope and the incredible work that this charity, Destiny Rescue, was doing, and really leave people inspired that they're making a difference. And so I opened up. The very first thing that I said when I was on stage was actually a little story, that a conversation I had with my 5-year-old about it. And she asked me, Mum, what are you doing at work today? And I said to her, well, babe, Mum's helping to rescue kids. It's like, what do you mean rescue kids? And I said, well, some kids aren't as lucky as you. They don't have people that love them and protect them. And there are some people that do pretty bad things. And she said to me, but who loves them then? Who's going to love them if they don't have mum and dad? And I said, well, me and the 80 strangers in the room today, we're going to love them and we're going to help them. And that led me into this beautiful segue for the audience. Let's focus on that.
Yeah.
I didn't come in and go, today we're going to raise $20,000.
No.
I said, today we're going to rescue 11 children. That was the target we had. So no matter where you are, using a story to open up, that immediately everyone was like, because it's a heavy topic. I didn't want to come in with stats. The CEO was talking about that, but even he keeps it as light as you can, because you go too deep with stories. And this is another point I want to say about stories. A lot of people get in their heads about, I don't have a big enough story. Nothing huge has happened to me. I don't have a story of trauma. I don't have a story of abuse. I don't have a story. Everyone's got a story.
Every story is, as small as they are, they're very important.
Exactly. And a conversation with my 5-year-old, that illustrated the point. It wasn't a big traumatic story. And that is something I get across to the people that I work with. You don't have to have a big story to make big impact. Everyday conversations.
I think if anything, like if you were to say, hey, this is the conversation I had with my barista while making coffee, is the one thing that everybody will be like, oh my God, I have a barista.
Relatable.
I go to get coffee in the morning. So it really makes it so
absolutely
they'll lean in just because
it's relatable too. And I heard once, if you have a 1 in a million story, 1 in a million people will relate to you. If you have an everyday relatable story, like you just said, people will see themselves in that. And again, we're wired for stories. We lean in and we start to think, oh, I could see myself doing that, or I could see myself in that position. So that's something I do no matter where I'm at. If I'm on stage, the first thing I do, it's story. I'm not there going, hi, my name's Nicole Joy. I'm a speaking coach. No, like if I could give one bit of advice, it would be, do not start your talks, your presentations with
introducing yourself.
Don't introduce yourself.
I never do that ever. Like never.
Don't do it. People just go, okay. And they're like, oh, I've done this for 5 years.
I'm here today to talk to you about.
No, before that. Now that is an important part. I call it the roadmap and the mission of part of the structure.
Yeah.
And that's where you say, after you've done the story, after you've reeled
you
them
got
in,
them.
Then you say, I call it the mission part of where you unite the room with your vision. So that's where you say, I believe, and something that I say a lot, I believe that everybody can speak with confidence. It's not something you're born with. It's not a personality trait. It's a skill. So there's a statement there that unites the room. And then you go into, so today I want to talk to you about my keynotes, the 5 C's of confidence, and it's going to help you show up, speak up, and be visible, whatever it is that your audience wants.
Yeah.
And then you go into the key messages and the takeaways, but you don't start there. You don't start there, and that's a massive mistake that I think.
I think for us a little less technical. I think one of the things that I always try to do is go back onto what I want them to walk away with, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like, to recap, these are the 3 things I want you to remember.
Always.
And
our brains don't really remember more than 3 things. So sometimes I will say, if you have a framework, particularly if you're a coach or a consultant or somebody that has a framework that you work off, and let's say it's 7 steps, you don't have time to do 7 steps.
No.
So what you do though, you can present this is my 7-step framework, but today I'm only going through the first 3.
That's it.
And that is a strategy in itself, because they think, oh my gosh, I've heard these 3, I want to know more. They either book you again or they reach out to you and they want to work one-on-one. So another mistake I see a lot is trying to cram so much into one 20-minute slot, 45-minute slot, whatever it is. You can't teach them everything you know.
No.
You can't. You have to focus on the one thing. And again, if it's a conference or something where you've been liaising with an event organizer, make sure that you are staying on the topic of the conference, on the theme of the conference, and you're always diverting back to, hang on, is this in alignment with that thing that I want them to remember? Because otherwise you can get carried away.
That is very interesting, because I just so happened, so last year I was on tour with David Goggins. I distinctly remember one speaker in Brisbane, and she talked about her own thing without relating it to the business conference it was. And it felt so out of place. It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean breathe and do all of the, the spiritual things? Like we're here because we want to make money, or because we want to be, we want to have like that extra strength in the things that we do. But it's very interesting. So to relate it to the day.
Have to relate it. And this is where spiritual woo-woo stuff gets such a bad rap, because I'm a very spiritual person, but it's practical spirituality. So if I'm talking about your breath, that's not just to talk about your breath for the sake of it. That is to ground you. That is to ensure that the words you're about to say are going to land.
Control your body.
And as a speaker, if your words land, it means you're making impact, which means people want to work with you, which means you'll eventually make more money, right? Because we're all motivated by, we want more money, more time, better relationship. They're the 3 things that motivate it all, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very spiritual and big on doing things and incorporating practices into my life that make me feel good, and then I act from that place. Because I think a lot and I've seen it, and there's a lot of talk about, hustle, doesn't matter how bad you feel, you're going to keep going. I think we're really starting to move away from that. Caveat is, you don't always feel good, but you have to show up. But it's about aligning yourself with practices that make you feel a little bit better in the moment. Whether that be, you know what, I can't sit down at this computer anymore. There's no ideas coming. There's no creativity happening. I need to get outside for 10 minutes, put my face in the sun, my feet on the ground, and just recharge.
Yeah.
That, a lot of people would go, no, you've got to stay at your desk and keep. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or it could be, before I go to bed at night, I do a brain dump of everything I want. I focus on 3 things that I'm grateful for, and then I go to bed. Like I feel like spirituality and alignment, those words like alignment, and they can get a bad rap because they're seen as separate to your business. They are not separate to your business. How you show up as an individual, as a human being in this world, affects your business. So if you can work on and have daily practices that help you as a human being be better in the moment, you're able then to tap into your creativity. You're able to download ideas that you think, where did that come from? Rather than hustle.
Well, also, I think in my specific case, like everybody out there, like you're always on social media, you're always scrolling and everything. I am, one of the things I'm doing these days is actually making a conscious effort to be bored. Conscious effort.
No one's bored enough these days.
No. So I don't turn on the TV. I don't go on social media. If I'm bored, I'm like, okay, let's sit with it. And it's uncomfortable, right? But I grew up in the 90s, so I was always bored. Because, there wasn't Netflix. You turn on the TV, there was
we've got
nothing
everything on
good,
demand
turn
now,
it off.
right?
That's
We've got
right.
everything on demand.
So, I think, a lot of people, they get the best ideas in the shower. But why? Because you're not distracted, right? Thank you again, Nicole. I think I can't wait to see what the audience will have to say about this. And I really believe that there's going to be an awful lot of people reaching out.
Amazing. I love that.
Thank you.